Uh, Good afternoon, delegates. Welcome to another exciting session at Huddle 2021. Today's session will be unlocking the technology to create value. The session will be led by Mr. Sandeep Nelwal, co-founder Polygon. I would like to hand it over to Sandeep to initiate to have a discussion in terms of the topic unlocking the technology to create value.
Sure. So, yeah, basically, I thought that we were having a fireside chat. So, but just to give a brief background of the title, basically, in terms of using the blockchains to unlock value. Um, I think there are, in terms of the various use cases which are currently emerging and are like predominantly in the crypto space, we see that the highest value is being unlocked in the finance sector right now because in the basically if we see the fine like the we call it traditional finance systems. There are a lot of inefficiencies because there are multiple parties interacting with each other, and like there are a lot of transparency trust issues from the end user, where we see that in the DeFi protocols, for example. Um, you know uh, you you basically have code which runs the underlying financial logic. For example, lending and borrowing. So you basically lend or borrow to code, which is the smart contract being used for the DeFi protocols. So you can automatically see that while when you do this lending borrowing via a bank, the process will involve a lot of parties, will involve a lot of the staff at the bank and all that. Here the process is fully automated, fully transparent, and you can also trust the process, or trust the code, basically, that it will run as per the underlying logic. Similarly, the other value unlock that is happening is on the composability side of things, right? So what I mean by composability, that on, for example, Ethereum blockchain, you have some part of the code, and then you have some other application. Let's say lending borrowing is there, and then there is an exchange is there. So these applications can interact with each other. That's what we call composability. So smart contracts can interact with each other. And what is happening is that due to that, we have seen a Cambrian explosion of these use cases, uh, use cases on blockchain. So for example, I mean, the whole DeFi space, actually, if you see, we at times call it financial engineering on steroids. Because let's say if you wanted to create a lending, like, for example, let's take a lending example. I lent something, and then but I now want to offload this loan to somebody else. Maybe in the traditional world you will call it like a credit default swap, right? So but here, what you can do is, basically, you have a loan, and then the loan smart contract interacts with the let's say the exchange, or or some sort of market where people can buy that particular loan item. So the smart contract programmers can basically code this complex product within a matter of days, whereas in financial industry it would have taken multiple years, if not decades, to for multiple parties to come together and create these kind of complex products. So we as I said, that we call it financial engineering on steroids. And you can already see that it kind of ends up giving a lot of efficiencies for these systems. In the traditional world, you can do it in people do these complex things. Like even now, when everything process is set up and all that, if you wanted to launch a product like that, you would need at least 3 to 6 months of regulatory work and whatnot. Whereas here you can integrate two smart contracts over a weekend, and then boom, like you have this kind of products available. And then people are now creating various different kind of exotic products based on top of these solutions. So there also automatically you can see a lot of synergies and value unlocking is happening, because you remove all the middle parties from the between, and then it's open source code, it's run by open source code. Similarly, let's say, let's move from the DeFi market to the NFT and gaming market, for example. You guys must already be seeing that, for example, Axie Infinity is a game, or Zrun, for example, is a game which have created these complex models, complex what do you call, like the gaming models, where people are now spending much more money and spending much more time on those games than the traditional games. And now traditional games are actually looking to move into such kind of models, the gaming models. And what happens is that instead of giving these users these gaming assets on your servers, where you host your game, you, instead of that, you give them those assets on chain. And once you give them those assets on chain, the main thing that happens is that they have the full ownership of those assets, and then they can actually trade it out in the markets, and lend or borrow or whatever they want to do with those assets. What opens is that it opens a huge global secondary market to those assets. And people who understand gaming, they know that these gamers spend hours and hours. Actually, hours is a wrong metric to use. Like, they spend like days and months to earn those assets previously. Or some people buy from the asset. Previously, it was only possible to use these assets on a particular game, or the game by the provider. But now, since these assets are on chain, people can build these applications on top of it, uh, on their own, and people can actually trade out their assets in the market. They can use these assets in different applications. For example, Loot Project right now is an example. Somebody created these NFTs, which can be now used in multiple games. Whoever wants to build games using those NFTs, so that automatically adds much more value to those NFTs. Previously, if that NFT was available for $100 in a particular game, now you can imagine the same NFT can be used in various different games. Plus, it has a global secondary market also. So people tend to spend more. I mean, there have been various studies which says that an average Web3 gamer ends up spending orders of magnitude more than an average Web2 gamer. So all the gaming industry is coming into this. Then the third, I would say, is also on the DAOs side. So, DAOs are basically decentralized autonomous organizations, and there has been a Cambrian explosion of DAOs basically on the blockchain scene. People are creating DAOs like Flamingo DAO and Pleaser DAO, which are basically NFT investment DAO. So people pool their money, and then they buy these NFTs from the market. And then basically these are investment DAOs which invest in NFTs. People are also governing protocols using the DAOs, and there have been multiple such scenarios where people are using DAOs and those mechanisms. Um, Apart from that, there are multiple miscellaneous uses of blockchains where the value can be driven. For example, using Polygon, Maharashtra government is basically putting your PCR, RT-PCR test reports or your vaccination reports on chain, where anybody can then verify using your address whether you are vaccinated or what is your PCR test report. And other people can also integrate with it. So that is also another very interesting use case. Then there are applications like Guhar, for example, in Chhattisgarh, who have built a grievances addressal platform, uh, which basically where they kind of take these basically people can use in the very remote areas, people can use simple SMS to kind of register their grievance, and that grievance directly reaches to the topmost echelons of the government. Because what was happening for these people is that even the local government and police don't even register their FIRs, or they don't they even register their complaints. And with FIR, I think like this again also is a very great use case where in India at times people complain that in remote areas that their local police, due to some reason or the other, due to influence or corruption or something, are not registering their FIR details. What can happen is that using a simple Aadhaar ID and all that, you can register your FIR, which goes into blockchain, and then nobody can deny that this particular FIR was lodged. So these are the possibilities are endless. The base underlying value accrual kind of features that blockchains give is of course the ownership of the assets, then like composability of the smart contracts, where one application can easily talk to the other application, and the transparency and immutability, which gets user to have enhanced trust. So these three four kind of features of blockchain, underlying features of blockchain, help other applications to unlock value in various ways, and some of the examples I gave. So that's from my side. If I don't know whether we can actually take some questions, or um,
We can take questions. I have. Let's see. We have a question. One of the question is that what is the response towards blockchain crypto so indifferent in the last 10 years?
why is the response? Can you repeat the question?
Why is the response of regulator towards blockchain crypto so indifferent in the last 10 years? Uh,
So, I mean, that's the answer to that is that till now the was very very small. We didn't even were in the radar. Like, but now in the last 2 3 years, we are reaching those levels where regulators are interested, because now it has become big enough. Before that, it was like a small niche of technology. So I don't think now they are indifferent. There can be scenarios where they might be anti to it because they don't understand it. But then, as and when they understand more and more, they will move towards positive regulation, which is what we are seeing in the Indian space. I think we are looking towards a positive regulation from the government of India.
I don't think we have any more questions, Sandeep. Thank you for your discussion. I think that has been great. I'd like to thank our partners, title partner ZPay and CoinDCX, powered by partner CoinSwitch Kuber, brought to you by partner Bitbins, platinum partner Facebook, gold partner Geotus, bronze partner Hubi Global. Delegates, please look forward to the upcoming sessions at Huddle 2021. Thank you, Sandeep, for your time, and
Thank,
we look forward to you in other events at IMI. Thank you.
thank you so much. Bye.